Hello, David here, and the project for today is replacing the coolant on the 2007 Toyota Prius. If you follow my channel, you know that I did the coolant on the inverter a while back, and I was going to do the coolant for the motor, but I couldn't find the radiator drain because the drain's not on the radiator. So I checked it, and I did some research, and I found out where it's at. So I'll put the link to that in the upper right corner. If you're watching on my Rumble channel, I'll put the link down in the description below. It's kind of a good thing that I delayed the coolant change till now, because I've heard that the Prius was hard to bleed the air out of the system and that you don't always get all the coolant out of the heater core. So I'm going to turn the heat on high, the fan on medium. Hopefully any valves in that system will open up and any coolant in there will drain out with the radiator coolant. And also, I'm going to be using my OEM Tools Airvac coolant refiller. I highlighted that in my last video when I did the coolant change on the 2016 Toyota RAV4. And this creates a vacuum in the system, and it allows a good refill of new coolant into the system. And I hope it helps me out in this case. I'll put the link to that up in the upper right corner. And if you're watching on Rumble, I'll put the link down below in the description. To find the drain for the coolant, we got to come under here, under the left side. And there's some screws to take off of the splash guard here. I see there's a piece missing. Where is that? Oh, this fastener's missing. I'm gonna have to get a bungee cord and hold this flap back so it's out of my way. Okay, so here we go. We got a plastic drain here. By loosening that valve, the coolant's going to drain out of here. If you take this valve out all the way, you're going to make a mess because all the coolant's going to come out sideways through here. You don't want to do that. I'm going to disconnect this electrical connector because this container is a reservoir to keep the coolant hot. I know that's an oxymoron, but we don't want this pump running while the coolant is drained, because that could be bad for the pump. So I'm going to disconnect this connector without breaking it, of course. I might have to get my pick to do that. I'll do that off camera. Also, your key fob, you want to get that away from the car because the key fob tends to take the car out of sleep mode, so it's got to be at least 10 feet away. So I got the key fob away. Okay, let the drain begin. I attached the hose to the fitting just so it wouldn't splash around so much. These things are usually pretty long. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to lift the car up off the jack stand and lower it so the tires are on the ground, so I'll get all the coolant drained out of there. Then I'm going to start working up on top. I need to get access to the radiator cap, and it's underneath this cover. The radiator cap is right there, and I'm just going to use a pick and get these fasteners out of here. There are 5, 6. System will drain better with the radiator cap removed. It's a good time to inspect the radiator cap. Also, on the expansion tank, if that doesn't drain out as well, I'm going to have to suck any old coolant out of there. There's a bleed screw under here that takes a 6mm Allen. So if you're going to fill with a no-spill funnel, you open this up to bleed the air out of there. If you're going to use a vacuum, if you open it up, the vacuum's going to suck air in. So after I do the vacuum and fill it with a vacuum, if I decide that I need to use a no-spill funnel, at that time I'll open up that bleeder. And I bought this 6mm Allen socket from Crescent. It was only $3.50 on Amazon. I was going to use that for this, and that doesn't go deep enough in there. Of course, I'm going to hang on to this because I'm going to need this to change the transmission fluid in the RAV4. I forgot to mention this at the beginning, but make sure the engine is cold before you open up the cooling system, because you could get scalded with boiling coolant. Appears everything is drained out. I just turned down the ignition with the heat up all the way and the fan on, and there wasn't any more coolant coming out of the drain. So now I'm going to put that coolant in recycle bottles to recycle it, and then I'm going to close off the drain. I'll hook up this vacuum contraption. Looks like this adapter is the best adapter for this radiator. Don't push too hard on that filler neck because it's just, yeah, it's not that strong. Bungee cords are helping to hold that steady. Okay, I'm going to be using the factory Toyota coolant. It's pre-diluted, so you don't add water to it. And because I can't watch the level drop when I'm using this vacuum pump, I'm going to be transferring this to a clean, clear milk jug so I can watch it drop, because I don't want it to go down to the bottom, because then I'll be drawing air into the system. Okay, I'm at 25 inches of mercury for vacuum. Can open up the valve from the fresh coolant, let it get sucked in. That's all it's taken in. It's about 1.5 gallons. I'm going to disconnect all this stuff. Now that the vacuum's off, I'm going to see if any air comes out of the bleeder. Fingers are dry. I'm going to check it again. I've got my no-spill funnel hooked up to top off the system, but before I do that, I'm going to jack up the car and connect that wire connection back to the electric pump for the coolant storage tank. Okay, I got it running in maintenance mode. I want to get it to warm up where the thermostat opens. I'm going to keep an eye on the no-spill funnel and top it off if it goes down. I just opened the air bleed screw right over there, and I let some air out until some coolant started coming out, so I know that part is properly bled. So you want to hear the coolant fans come on twice, so that's going to take a while, so just sit back and watch everything happen. When you're finished, you want to make sure that the cabin could get good and hot, because that means you've got coolant flowing through your heater core. It was just percolating a few minutes ago, so that air evac isn't perfect. Put the car in maintenance mode. Press the start button twice with the foot off the brake. Press the gas pedal twice all the way. Put the vehicle in neutral with the foot on the brake. Then press the gas pedal 2 times all the way. Put the vehicle in park by hitting the park button. Press the gas pedal 2 times all the way. Then hold your foot on the brake pedal and push the power button once. And then you'll get this indicator on your dash. Why aren't you focusing? There we go. And don't drive your car around in maintenance mode, you could damage the powertrain. Cabin is nice and toasty warm now. After a couple of cycles, no more air bubbles coming out. I'm going to switch the funnel over to the expansion tank. And then top off the expansion tank. Last thing to do is to put this cover on. Don't forget to make your father happy and update your logbook. I want to thank you guys and gals for watching. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and ring that bell for more great videos from David GPO.